everyone, Tracy here with Paper Closet Designs, and I have a different type of video for you today. So the dome candy card holders have been really popular, but I've had a lot of people request information on how to size them because sometimes the Christmas ornaments are a different size than what I have originally used. So that's what we're going to do today, and I'm going to start with the snowman, the Christmas snowman, but the process that we're going to go through will work for any of the cards that you choose to use. We're going to do this on Cricut first, and then I might do another video with the silhouette. There are a lot of steps to this, so I'm giving you fair warning that there are a lot of steps. So let's go into Cricut Design Space, and I have pulled it up. Now the ornament size that I use is 3.15 inches or 80 millimeters. And I've had a lot of people say that the ones that they bought from Michael's or Hobby Lobby are just a little bit smaller. So we're going to do this to fit a 2.5 inch plastic Christmas dome. And like I said, there's two different ways to do it. I'm going to show you both of them. So the first one is to keep the original size and then just make the holes a little bit smaller. So that's what we're going to do first. When you open up your file, you'll notice that it's pretty big. You're going to want to make sure that the width on it is 11.5 inches. They should come in that way, but just in case they don't, make sure your width is at 11.5. And I have the snowman with the dial opened, but I'm also going to show you how to do it with the pull tab. So the first thing that you'll want to do is we're going to hide this little pull tab guy first, and I'm going to just shrink this down a little bit so you can see pretty much everything on my screen. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to ungroup this. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to ungroup it. And then we need a circle that is the size of our dome plus 0.01. So I'm going to come to shapes and I'm going to get the circle. And now I'm going to change this circle color just because it's going to be easier to see as I'm working. So I'm going to pick a color that's not on my board. Let's go with a bright yellow. And we're going to change this to 2.51 inch. So my dome is 2.5 inches, but I'm going to add 0.01 to get it to be the right size for the cutout. So now that we have this, I always make a duplicate just in case I delete it or something. So we're going to take this first shape, and it doesn't really matter which one you start with. I usually start with one of the basic shapes. So if your back shape is taller, start with the shape that most of your images are. I hope that makes sense. Okay, we're going to take our little dome, our little circle that's the size of our dome, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of that shape. And you can highlight both of them and come over to align, and you can align horizontally, but you cannot align vertically, because if I align vertically, it's going to put it right up here in the neck, and we don't want that. So you're going to have to eyeball it and make it as close as you can. I'm going to just bump that down a little bit. Okay, so with that ready to go, I'm going to select my image, and over in the layers panel on the right hand side, I'm going to click on contour. I've showed what contour does before in the past, but what it does is it hides pieces of that image that you don't want it to cut. So they're still there, it's just hiding them. I'm going to click on that circle because we don't want that circle to cut. That's our original circle. I'm going to X out of there. And now I'm going to select both of those, and I'm going to come down again to the layers panel and this time select slice. I'm going to remove the original circle, and we're going to keep that. That's why I made a copy, just in case you delete it, but we're going to keep it. We're going to remove the circle that we sliced, and this one we can delete. And there is that piece. So now we need to do that with the other 3 pieces that have a circle, or the other 2 pieces that have a circle, excuse me. So I'm going to put this original yellow circle right back in so it lines up. I'm going to lay this piece right here so that it all lines up. Move your first piece, and we're going to do the same thing. Now it doesn't look like it's even, but we, more than anything, is we want those circles to line up. So you can play around with that a little bit if it's not lining up just the way you want it. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's move that. Like I said, it's still not quite in the middle, but that's okay. We don't want it. We want it lined up with this piece. I'm going to select the back piece, that black Santa, or excuse me, the black snowman. I'm going to hit contour again and hide the circle. And now we're going to select both those pieces without moving them and slice. Hold on to our original piece. And there is the piece that we can delete. And then we have that with one more piece. So we need to bring up our white piece. And I'm going to bring it to the front. Line it up. And you might want to bring this one over and make sure everything's lining up pretty good. Looks like it is. Bring our yellow circle, put it right there so that it fits inside the black piece. I hope this is making sense. Like I said, there's a lot of steps to it. I need the circle. There we go. Okay, we're going to move our black piece. Don't delete that, just move it. Select the snowman, come to contour, hide the circle, but nothing else. And then we need to actually send that to back so that the yellow piece is showing. And we're going to slice it. So there are our 3 pieces. Now you'll notice that this is still almost 8.5 inches tall, which is what the original one was. So we haven't changed the size on this one at all. We've just changed those circles so that our smaller dome will fit in. Now once you get to this point, I would suggest that you cut just one of these pieces and make sure that it fits your dome, because you don't want to cut everything and then find out it's too big or it's too tight. I would just cut one piece and make sure that everything fits, and if you need to change things around, you can do that. So what happens with our dial pieces? These have a half circle in them. So if I take my little dial piece and bring it up here, actually I'm going to bring it to the front so you can see what I'm talking about. If I line it up, you're going to notice that the hole is a little bit bigger than the hole in our original piece, and that is fine. It will work fine. So you can leave it like that. If you really do want this smaller, what you'll need to do is you're going to get another circle, and this time I did my circles about 1/4 of an inch smaller than the dome, and so I'm going to change this to 2.25 and actually 2.26. And then we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to just, oops, first we have to cut that in half. So I'm going to get a square. See if you can see what I'm doing. So I've lined up my square. Let's do this. Let's take our circle and put it right on the grid lines. So it's half and half. We're going to line up our square. So it's halfway over the circle. Select both, and this time we're going to go to combine. These are new tools, and we're going to subtract, And there is our circle, or our half circle. And I'm going to again change that color. Okay, so now we're going to do the same exact thing again. This is an optional step. Remember, I said this window will work. It's just, it's a little bit bigger than your opening in your card. And on the original side, it's actually a little bit smaller. So what I'll do is I'm just going to line it right up there. Select the back piece, the black piece, contour, and just select that inner circle. We don't want this circle down here, which is for where the brad is going to go. And then we're going to select both of those, slice, and there's your smaller piece. And then you would do that, whoops, you would do that for all three of the dial pieces. You bring this in, bring it in, and subtract it. So that's how you're going to change all of your pieces to keep the original size, but make the circles or the holes, the windows, small enough to fit your dome. Now, if you have a pull tab, it's going to be a little bit different. Once again, you could leave the pull tab as is. I don't know how well you can see that on the screen, but there's the pull tab, and you can leave it as it is. It's a little bit bigger, which is fine. It just means when you tear it off, actually the dome is going to be glued inside there, and so when you tear it, it'll just most likely tear a little strip. It's fine. That's what I did on the ones that I did for the smaller domes. That's how I did it. But if you want to change the size of your pull tab, it's super easy to do. We're going to duplicate. And on this copy, I'm going to come down to contour, and I'm just going to hide the actual snowman. So when I click on it, all I have is the circle, the pull tab. On this piece, the original piece, we're going to contour, and you're going to need to select all of the pull tab. So it's the tab and all of those little perforation lines. I think I missed one. Yep. You're going to select all of them. Keep going. There's a lot of them. So this takes a minute. You're going to select all of those, and then we're going to hide them. We're almost there. So now we have just our snowman, and we have just our pull tab. So we want to take our pull tab, and we want to resize that. And I would do about 2.25 inches. Let's take our our white snowman, place him on top. We're just doing this for alignment. We're going to take the pull tab, and we're going to set it inside there. And now we can move our white. We can select all of these, and we can attach them. So I'm selecting the black snowman that had the original pull tab and the smaller pull tab that I created, and I'm going to attach it. So now everything is ready to go. If I go to make it, there's my white snowman with the smaller hole. There's the black, our nose, all of our little pieces that we need. And there is more of our black snowman. And this one has the smaller window that I changed. This one does not, but you'll get the idea. So everything is ready to go. So that is one way to do it. And that keeps the original size. So like I said, this one would be 8.5 inches tall. Not quite, but pretty close. So let's say that you wanted to change everything and keep it in proportion. You have a smaller dome and you want a smaller file. So first off, I'm going to select everything and delete it. And then we're going to go back into Upload, and I'm going to find my my snowman dome again, and I'm going to add to canvas. Okay, now we need to go back and get that circle one more time. So I'm clicking on shapes, I'm getting my circle, I'm going to bring it over here. Again, I'm going to change it to yellow or any color really, it's just something that's different. And then we're going to resize that to 2.51. Okay, now what I want to do, I'm going to minimize my screen so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to bring my circle and I'm going to place it inside the middle of one of my images. It doesn't matter which one. You want to keep it in one of these. So now I'm not going to ungroup this file. Let me emphasize that. I'm not going to ungroup that file. All I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the corner and I'm going to slide it to make it smaller. I'm going to place it over there. Oh, I went a little too small. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so that looks pretty good. That looks like it fits the inside of that circle almost perfectly. The other thing that you can do is to check it is now we're going to ungroup it. So we've got it all sized. We're going to ungroup it. Now I can bring my little snowman over here. I could hit contour. I could hide my snowman and check the width on that circle, and it's 2.54. I wanted 2.51. That's really close. You could play around with it a little bit more if you wanted to, but I think that'll work. So I'm going to hit contour and I'm going to unhide my snowman, and there we have that. So now this is all ready to go. Now that seemed like the easier way to do it. However, your little tiny circles, I'm going to zoom back out again. Your little tiny circles where your brad goes are now way too small. So now, whoops, we need to change the size of those circles. So what you're going to do is you would get your shapes tool, click on a circle, again change it to a different color, and this time we're going to resize it, and my inside my circles are 0.15, I believe. Whoops, that didn't work. 0.15. They're pretty tiny. So now I'm going to place this circle right on top of where the other circle is. If I zoom in really close, you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to place this circle that I made right on top. Select the dial piece, hit contour, and this time hide that little circle. This is where your brad goes through. Select everything, slice it, and now you have a new circle for your brad. And you would do that for this piece and this piece, and there's one other piece, and this piece right here. You would also do it for your washers. However, your washers are going to need to be a little bit bigger now, because if I bring my, good heavens, I keep losing my pieces. If I bring my circle over, it's almost as big as the washer. So you can leave it that size, or you can make those a little bit bigger and then do the same exact thing. You can put it on there, hit contour, remove the middle circle, select both of those, and hit slice. And now you have a washer that will actually fit your brad. Okay, so let's go. Now this one, what this did was it took it and it kept everything in proportion. So I have a smaller dome. I also have a smaller dome holder. And if I look at my snowman, he is now 6.79, so about 6 3/4 inch tall. So I lost, excuse me, I lost basically 1 1.25 inches. I made him a little bit smaller, but that's how you would do that. So 2 different ways. Like I said, both of them you kind of need to do a few steps. They're not hard. You just have to make sure that you get all of those pieces right. I hope that helps. I hope that answers all of your questions and is as clear as mud. If you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to email me and I will try and walk you through it. Thank you for joining me today. Please hit subscribe down below so that you don't miss any of my videos, and have a great day.